Hello YouTube. This week I've got the keys to the 2018 Nissan Qashqai. Let's take a look. So this is the 2018 Nissan Qashqai. So this is kind of their smallest SUV. Kind of replaces the Juke, but it's quite a bit bigger than the Nissan Juke was. This is below the Rogue. Starts at $19,999 Canadian for a front-wheel drive, 6-speed manual transmission version. They're all powered by a 2-liter 4-cylinder with 141 horsepower, I believe it is. This one here is your popular SV model. It's got a Cvt transmission. This has the all-wheel drive option, and it's about $30,000 with PDI and freight. So the front-wheel drive version is $24,000, and then it's $26,000 after PDI and freight, and then you add a couple more $1,000 to that for the all-wheel drive, and you come up with this one here. It's an interesting green color. Like it or hate it, I guess it is interesting. It's quite well loaded at this price. I'll pop open the trunk here. As you can see here, it's quite large compared to the CX-3 that I had a couple weeks ago and the Toyota CHR. This is quite a lot bigger than that. You've got a couple of layers here of storage. If you leave it up here, you kind of got your flat floor here. You've got, some containers on the side. You've got this tonneau cover, which is a little bit odd. It doesn't clip in like a lot of them do. It kind of just sits in here. It's not the greatest system. It kind of pops out when you push on it. But this is quite a bit bigger. I'm not quite sure how much smaller this is in the Rogue because it doesn't seem to be that much smaller. Come along to the side here, and you'll see the 60-40 split seats. You pull down on the lever here, and I'll give you your 60-40. And that gives you the flat floor. And the seats are an interesting kind of pattern. They're not just black. It kind of gives you a little bit of a break from the blackness of the interior. We'll hop on in. The SV model does have a sunroof. We've got it up here. It's also got 17-inch alloy wheels. And it's got heated seats, which is really nice, and a heated steering wheel. There's quite a bit of space for a compact or subcompact SUV. There's quite a bit of space in the back here. And it is kind of plain. Back here you've got your speaker down here and your power window switch. And this is kind of a squishy, soft material. So there's not much back here. There's no mat pockets on the seats. And you can see in the front here, it is a little bit plain. I think I like the Mazda better in terms of appearance in the front. But this vehicle seems to have more features available to it. So, and also there's a lot more room in this than especially the CX-3. But it's a little bit smaller than the CX-5. So let's take a look up front. So up front here, I'm going to just start it with the start button. This is keyless entry. And engine start stop. It also has a remote start option as well, which is really nice. Let's turn this off so we get no fan. So it is dual zone climate control, as you can see here, automatic climate control for dual zone. Front and rear defrost. You've got a screen here for your infotainment system, as well as your backup camera in here, so we'll put that in the backup camera. So there's your backup camera there. It is a little bit small, it is kind of tiny actually. I think it's about 3.5 inches wide. So it is a little bit small. What I do like though is if you press the display button, it goes completely black, and then over here you've got your dimming for the dash lights, and it actually can go completely out as well, which is really great. If you're on the highway at night and you turn everything off, you have it on cruise, it doesn't matter. You don't need to watch your speed. And you can just cruise along and you don't have the lights distracting you inside the car. I really, really like that. Automatic headlights. And you've got all your controls on the steering wheel as you'd expect in this class. Now, almost everybody has, everything on the steering wheel now, including Bluetooth and cruise control and audio control buttons, and then menu control buttons for the dash here. So we got the dash here. The one thing on this car is I'm averaging 9.2 liters per 100 kilometers, which I think for this class is a little bit high, especially with only 140 horsepower. In the Mazda, I averaged around 7. But that was a front-wheel drive model. This is all-wheel drive. So you can flip through your fuel economy. You can flip through, trip, average speed, and then there's a bunch of settings in here. Vehicle settings for your lights, your turn indicator to do the auto blink 3 times. Remote start, you can turn that on and off. Wipers, and there's different menus. This just shows you what your all-wheel drive system's doing. It's in front-wheel drive most of the time. Tire pressures, auxiliary, and that. So you've got kind of your basics in there. Over on the left, way down here, we've got an all-wheel drive lock button. So that'll lock it into all-wheel drive, and it should show here, I think, it'll show that it's in all-wheel drive. Maybe I have to start moving. Yeah, so now you'll see there's a 50-50, it was a 50-50 ratio for a second there. So that'll lock that in. There's also the heated steering wheel button down here in the bottom, way down here. And then there's the eco mode button, which will tell you eco there. And really, you don't want to be driving in eco mode just because it's really slow in regular mode. So we wouldn't want to bother with that. You've got over here a 12-volt plug, auxiliary input, USB, just the one USB there. But we actually have quite a big, good place for the cup holder, quite a big storage in here. But no USB or power in there, just a big storage space. So the rest here we've got, this is kind of like a rubbery dash, it's okay. It's kind of plain, but you got this piano black here, which is nice. And quite a large glove box as well. And I already showed you that sunroof from the back. And you've got buttons here for the lights, reading lights and that. And what's missing in a lot of cars now, this car actually does have a sunglasses holder. The other thing that's really nice about this and kind of unique, somewhat unique to Nissan, I think. I mean, other manufacturers do it, but Nissan seems to do it in a lot of their vehicles. So you have this sliding visor, which is really nice. You can kind of get this right in the middle. If they got the sun coming between the rearview mirror and the windshield here, you can kind of slide this over and get that sun out of your way. So that is really nice. Nice feature, on a otherwise fairly basic car. And there is a light on the vanity mirror as well. So let's take this for a little drive, see what it's like, and then talk about it some more. So this is a Cvt transmission. And as you can tell, you kind of get that moving sound that you get in all the Cvt transmission cars. When I picked it up, I was told by the person that I picked it up from that it's really slow. I won't be speeding in this car. And then actually my wife drove it, and the first comment she said to me was, it's really slow. But I'm not sure. So it's funny because I thought it was kind of slow at first too, but it's really just kind of the programming and the transmission. A lot of cars do that now. If you put your foot in it, it's not really that slow. It picks up speed okay, but you're gonna listen to that mooing sound of the engine kind of pulling away. The all-wheel drive with only 140 horsepower doesn't help the matters very much. It's probably a lot peppier with the front-wheel drive, and especially with the manual transmission. Actually, probably just fine. But it's fine around town, and it's fine cruising on the highway. It doesn't feel like it's struggling or anything. If you're in cruise at about 120, you're going up a big hill. It will downshift, of course, and it'll keep the speed. But that's the only kind of times when you're kind of like, wow, it is struggling a little bit at higher speeds, going up kind of bigger hills. You really got to, give it that extra throttle to get it going. That's quite interesting, actually, is the turning radius on this SUV is quite good. For an all-wheel drive vehicle, The all-wheel drive vehicles usually have a pretty horrendous turning radius, and this one is actually really good. That was a pretty tight turn, easily back onto the road without having to go over into the shoulder. So there you go. That's the 2018 Nissan Qashqai. Confirmed that it's about $29,000 with freight and PDI for the all-wheel drive model. It's $26,700 and something, and then you add freight and PDI. So you're just under $30,000. You add tax to that, about $33,000 out the door on the road for this car, and you're getting an all-wheel drive SUV, which is if you're looking for a smaller vehicle, it's a good size. If you're looking for a little bit bigger and you're looking at a Nissan, you'd move up to the Rogue. It's not as quirky as the Juke used to be, that's for darn sure. It's kind of mainstream, but it's a good looking car, and it drives really well, actually. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to my channel.